Okay, hello everybody. My name is Jack Perry and welcome to my studio. It's Thunder Studio, Onslow County, located in Onslow County, North Carolina. See, I do a lot of recording here. It's a remote studio. I do digital drum tracks online, and this year I celebrate 60 years of performing and playing, and it's a lot of years to be out there tinkering around with drums, tuning, fixing, maintaining. And today I got a new snare drum, as you can see right there. And what I'd like to do is show you what it is I do with my snare drums when they first come here, and drums in general. What I'm going to do is I'm going to completely tear this drum apart. I'm going to put it all back together, get it tuned in, and I'm going to prepare it for a show. So it might not be exactly what you do, but maybe there's some tips in this video that you might be able to use. And I hope that there's something that you might take away from it. It's kind of a, primitive video. It's just me and a cell phone camera. So just kind of bear with me, and hope that you can get something out of this. Thanks a lot. Yeah, as you can see, all the screws in this snare drum that I just purchased, brand new, all need a little torquing. They're just not exactly tight. I go through this snare drum and I will tweak every last screw and every nut and bolt on the drum before I put it back together. And this is what I consider setting up. Don't know if these will move, don't know what the deal is, but I just don't like anything loose on the snare drum. It could cause shifting in the tensions of the heads, and that's kind of why I do it. I just go through the whole thing. I use my trusted little Nebo here, and I just go through and just give them a little tweak. Every last one of them is going to be loose. So when you get a brand new snare drum and when you order it and it gets to the house, it's kind of a pain, but I take it completely apart and I come in and I tighten every bit of this. Yes, and I do it on all the drums, not just the snare drum. It's a big job to keep them all lubed and cleaned up, but it sure helps when it comes down to tuning and getting a good sound on your drums. Okay, so now that everything's tweaked, I'm just going to go ahead and say that giving it a snug turn is good. Don't torque down on them too much. If you get them too tight, you're liable to pop the heads off. And with the vibration of the snare drum, of you cracking on it all night, it's liable to snap the heads off. We're just saying to snug them up, because most of the time they're 2 or 3 turns and they'll start to snug up. Don't, like I said, don't torque down on them real hard. Just get them really just nice and snug. And this gives you an opportunity to go around the rim of the drum and just kind of check out how the rim is, how it feels, see if there's any imperfections and that kind of thing you can maybe sand out or get out before you put the heads back on. All right, next step. I'll give each of the lugs tension rods, I guess you'd call it, just a little dab of 3-in-1 on the tip, not to really lubricate the whole screw, but just at the tip to help out with, in case they didn't do it at the factory. These are all things that I just am thinking perhaps maybe they did or they didn't do, but just in case, just a little tip on the tip, a little bit on the tip just to help lubricate it up, but not so much to where it comes loose while I'm playing. Just gives it a little bit more lubrication when it comes to tightening and tuning. Cool. As you see, these tension rods have the nylon washer on them, so that's going to help keep them in place when you tighten and tune the snare drum. Okay, so I have all the heads and rims and everything disassembled, and I'm putting the bottom head on first. I like to do that. I like to make sure that each one of them is finger tight. We just go around and check them all. that way. And as far as the heads go, I'm a big fan of the Remo Hazy. I just use that. I'm sure you all use different heads, but like I said, I just make sure that everything is tightened finger tight. Okay, I've got the top head on, and like I said, we're going to repeat and just go around, and we're going to make sure that all of these are finger tight. And as the top head goes, I'm a big fan of the Remo Ambassador. I've always used those on my drums. I know there's lots of other heads out there, but I'm just a big fan of the Remo Ambassador. And like I said, we're going to tighten this head down just a little bit more than the bottom head to keep the head in place. The lugs are a single lug. I like to make sure that those are tight and the top head tightened before I tune the bottom head. Okay, we'll start here, tighten here. We're going to go right up above the drum here to 12 o'clock. I'm going to come over here to this one, give it a little torque to the 3 o'clock, to the 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock, whatever. Back over here to this one up top, and just kind of stagger all the way around the drum until we get a good feel for the tension before we give it the final tune. Okay, so we're really in the ballpark on the tuning. Real close to the final tuning. Okay, here we have the top head, and like I said, we're going to go ahead and start tuning this by staggering your lugs. We're going, like 6, 12, 3, 11, just staggering all your lug nuts. Okay, I'm not going to use the factory snares, and of course I've already showed you that I'm not using the factory heads. I've upgraded to these snares. They're Evans. It's 20 strands, and we'll go ahead and put those on. Okay, so I pull the string up under the snares, over the top, back down, and into the butt plate. And I like to adjust the butt plate first before I adjust the actual snare strainer. Okay, the snare strainer is adjusted down. Now I can go ahead and pull the threads through and go ahead and tighten down the nuts on the strings. To me, it's pretty important to get the snares to be in the tightened position, to be exactly centered in the drum, so you don't have the snares pulling off to the left or off to the right when you're trying to tighten the tensions of the snares. So it might take some work to get that exactly right. The strings do stretch, but as you get it tight, just make sure that, as you can see, this is in the tightened position. They seem to be pretty straight. I've got the snare drum just about, the bottom head tuned about like I like. It's real close, and it's going to take a couple of days for it to seat in, and I'll probably have to go back in and adjust it or tighten it up a little bit, but for the time being, it's about like where I want it. And now we'll flip over and tune the top head. Okay, this sounds pretty good. All right, and that's about it. As far as this snare drum goes, it's sounding good. Like I said, it is a wooden Ludwig snare drum. It's a 6.5. And that's how I do it, folks, and I hope this helps somebody.